house every day or waiting until everything is a complete mess and then doing one big cleanup, I used to think letting things pile up and cleaning all at once would save me time. But every time I did that, I ended up stressed, exhausted, and blaming myself for not starting sooner. The house was never really in order, always a little messy, and I couldn't fully relax. That's when I decided to change. Instead of waiting for the mess to build up, I started cleaning a little every day and turned it into simple daily habits. Just small actions, most of them take only a few minutes, but they make a huge difference and save so much time and effort in the long run. In this video, I'll share 10 simple but effective cleaning habits that help you keep your house tidy without feeling overwhelmed. To begin, let's start with the simplest reset your home can have air. Just like when we feel stuffy and need to step outside to breathe in fresh air, your home also needs space to breathe. After a long night with the windows closed, the air in the room can become heavy without us realizing it. When the window is opened, the air begins to move, carrying humidity, stale odors, and stuffiness outside, leaving the room with a noticeable lightness. On humid days, rainy weather, or simply after a long night's sleep, allowing air circulation can make a bigger difference than you think. In just a few minutes, the room feels more comfortable, the damp smell fades away, and your body starts to relax with it. It's a gentle, natural feeling, no need for essential oils or complicated cleaning, just the air flowing through properly. I started this habit last summer. Every morning, the first thing I do is open the living room window for about 10 minutes, even if the weather is a bit chilly. At first, I hesitated because the cold air would rush into the room. But after a few days, the change became quite noticeable. The morning light entering the room softened. The space felt more open and everything seemed easier to breathe than before. After opening the window, I also felt more alert, calm, and ready to start my day. Try starting this small habit today. Simply open the window for at least 10 minutes each morning, and if the weather allows, you can leave it open a little longer. Chances are this will become the first moment of your day when you feel your home and yourself take a deep breath before everything begins. And for more helpful cleaning tips, be sure to watch our next video where we'll explore the do's and don'ts of home cleaning in 2026. You'll learn simple yet effective habits to keep your home fresh and tidy, along with things you might want to avoid for a stress-free living space. Next, once the space feels lighter, it helps to end the day without carrying anything unfinished into the morning. Mornings already come with enough to think about. When you walk into the kitchen and see last night's dishes still sitting there, the first feeling isn't really messy. It's more like an unfinished task quietly waiting for you. The day starts with a subtle weight, as if you have to resolve something left behind before you can properly begin again. Leaving dishes overnight doesn't just add to the workload the next morning, it also carries a quiet sense of delay. Small incomplete tasks tend to linger in the background slowly, turning into pressure that feels larger than it should, even when the task itself only takes a few minutes. For a long time, leaving dishes until morning felt harmless. There was always the thought of, I'll deal with it tomorrow. But tomorrow usually arrived with new demands and the dishes slipped further down the list. Over time, their presence became heavier than expected, a small reminder of something unresolved. When I started washing dishes right after meals, the change was immediate. Mornings felt lighter, the kitchen calmer, and that low-level sense of unfinished business was gone. If possible, try ending the day with an empty kitchen. Washing the dishes or loading the dishwasher only takes a few minutes, but it changes how the next morning begins. You walk into a space that feels clear, quiet, and ready, allowing the day to start without carrying anything over from the night before. Now that dishes are no longer lingering, one small detail can quietly change how the entire kitchen feels. In the kitchen, the sink is where your eyes often linger the longest, even though you might not realize it. Whether the counter is clean or scattered with a few items, just having a neat and empty sink makes the entire space appear more organized. On the other hand, a sink full of dishes or covered in stains easily makes the kitchen look messy even when there's not much else to clean. The sink acts as an anchor point in the kitchen. When it's clean, everything around it seems to fall into place. After washing the dishes, spending a few seconds rinsing, drying, and cleaning the sink is a tiny action, but it gives the whole space a sense of completion. Not only does it help prevent musty smells and bacteria, but a clean sink also brings a comfortable feeling every time you step into the kitchen, as though everything has been neatly wrapped up. I started paying attention to this habit when I noticed that my sink often had small stains or dried water spots after washing the dishes. At first, I used to overlook them, thinking they were insignificant. But when I began spending a little extra time rinsing the sink, drying the surface, and occasionally using baking soda and a few drops of essential oil, I noticed the kitchen looked much brighter and cleaner. Interestingly, I didn't clean anything else, but the overall feeling of the space changed dramatically. Since then, I see cleaning the sink as the final step in closing the kitchen after each meal. It's like a small period signaling that everything is done and nothing is left undone. Just a few seconds each time, but this habit helps keep the kitchen feeling fresh and tidy, and every time I come back, I feel lighter, as if the house is quietly supporting me rather than adding to my stress. After taking care of the kitchen, let's move to the very first space that greets you when you come home. The moment you open the door and step into your home often decides the mood for the entire evening. After a long day outside, your body may be tired, but the first space you see will heavily influence whether you truly feel like you're resting. If what greets you is a pile of shoes and coats scattered across the hallway, the feeling of exhaustion is likely to linger, as if you haven't really left the busy day behind. On the other hand, a neat entrance brings a sense of relief, making you feel like you've truly come home. The hallway is the transition space between the outside world and your private time inside. When this area is kept tidy, your mind can also more easily transition into relaxation. Just taking a few seconds to put shoes away and hang up coats immediately makes the space feel calm and inviting. It's a small yet clear signal to your body that it's time to slow down. I kept my shoes and coats right by the door because it felt convenient. Over time, I began to notice that stepping into a cluttered hallway made it harder to relax. The visual mess carried traces of the outside world into the house, allowing that tension to linger longer than it should. When I started taking a few minutes to put everything back in its place, the shift was immediate. Coming home felt lighter, more intentional. Evenings settled more calmly, and the house became a space that supported rest instead of quietly demanding attention. You don't need a complicated or expensive storage system. A simple shoe rack, a few coat hooks, or a small box for each family member will do. The habit of putting things away as soon as you step in doesn't just keep the hallway tidy, it creates a clear boundary between the outside world and your inside space, a place where you can truly unwind and rest. Now it's time to look at the paths you walk through every single day. There are areas in every home that seem to get dirty faster than the rest, no matter how often you clean. These are the paths you walk every day, the hallway you pass through as you come and go, the space in front of the sink, the floor under the dining table. They quietly collect crumbs, dust, and small traces of daily life. When these high-traffic areas look neglected, the entire house can feel worn and heavy, even if the other rooms are relatively tidy. What often makes cleaning feel overwhelming is the idea that it has to be done all at once. When the mind frames cleaning as doing the whole house, it's easy to postpone it entirely. But in reality, the way a space feels is often determined by just a few key spots. Clean floors in the areas you walk through most can immediately change how the house is experienced. The space feels calmer, movement feels lighter, and the background sense of mess fades away. For a long time, floor cleaning stayed on the weekend list. During the week, dust and crumbs quietly accumulated in the hallway and kitchen, never enough to feel truly dirty, but enough to create a low-level discomfort. The house felt slightly off, as if it was waiting for attention. When I began spending just 5 minutes a day sweeping or vacuuming those specific areas, that feeling disappeared. The home no longer felt like something that needed to be fixed later, but like a space that was being gently cared for every day. This approach doesn't require cleaning every room or following a strict routine. Focusing only on the places you walk through most often is enough. A small broom or a lightweight vacuum does the job. More than cleanliness, this habit creates a sense of continuity, a feeling that your living space is being maintained sustainably without pressure and without letting small messes quietly turn into mental clutter. With surfaces and floors cared for, there's one quiet source of heaviness that's easy to overlook. Trash is one of the easiest things to overlook in the house until you truly notice its presence. A full trash bin not only brings an unpleasant smell, but also creates a heavy, unspoken feeling as if there's something in the house that hasn't been resolved yet. Especially in the kitchen and bathroom, trash left for too long can make the space feel much more suffocating. One summer, I got so busy that I left the trash in the kitchen overnight. The next morning, as soon as I stepped into the kitchen, I immediately noticed the unpleasant smell in the air. It wasn't because there was too much trash, but because it had been there for too long. That moment made me realize taking out the trash isn't just about keeping the house clean, it's about giving the space room to breathe. Since then, I started taking out the trash every evening as part of wrapping up my day. After cleaning the kitchen, I take the trash outside, even if the bin isn't completely full. The kitchen the next morning always smells fresher, feels more pleasant, and there's no lingering feeling of having an unfinished task waiting for me. This small task makes my mornings start off much smoother. Emptying the bins regularly also helps you avoid dealing with a huge pile of trash later. Instead of letting it accumulate and then cleaning it up in a stressful way, you tackle it little by little while it's still manageable. Just a few minutes every day, but it results in a clean, pleasant space without any lingering smells around the house. Now let's turn to the space where rest actually happens, the living room. The living room is often the heart of the home where you unwind, chat, and spend the most time during the day. However, just a few flattened, misshapen cushions on the sofa can have a big impact on the overall vibe of the space. It's not that it's a visible mess, but more of a subtle feeling of neglect. A small thing like this can make the whole room feel tired and less inviting. At one point, I didn't pay much attention to the cushions after I sat down. I'd leave them as they were thinking nothing of it. Over time, the cushions would get squished and shift to one side. Each time I looked at them, I noticed the living room didn't feel as tidy as before. When guests came over, the sofa looked particularly unkempt, and that just added to the overall feeling of disarray. I quickly realized that simply taking a few seconds to plump up the cushions after each use made a huge difference. The sofa appeared fuller, and the living room felt brighter and more welcoming even though I hadn't cleaned anything else. It was a small act, but it made the space feel more cared for, as if the house itself was paying attention to the smallest details. Plumping the cushions doesn't take much time at all, yet it has a surprisingly large emotional impact. It's a bit like adjusting your clothes before leaving the house, not because you have to, but because it makes you feel tidier and more comfortable. Make this small habit a part of your daily routine. After a while, you'll notice that your living room always feels cozy and inviting, even during the busiest of days. At this point, when visible clutter is under control, it's time to address the kind you feel more than you see. There's a type of clutter that's very subtle, doesn't take up much space, but creates a significant mental burden: unopened letters and bills. These often get placed temporarily on the table, on the shoe rack, or in a corner of the hallway with the thought of, "I'll deal with it later." But that later can stretch on for days or even weeks. And every time you see that pile of paper, it feels like there's something unfinished quietly waiting for you to deal with it. Paper is different from regular items. It doesn't just take up space, it carries information, responsibilities, and decisions that are being postponed. As it piles up, not only does your home feel messier, but your mind feels heavier as well. Even if you don't open it, its presence silently adds pressure. I used to put all the mail into a small tray, thinking that would keep things organized. But after a few busy weeks, the tray filled up before I even realized it. Every time I walked past it, I'd glance at it and ignore it. But the discomfort was always there. It wasn't until I decided to open and handle the mail on the same day, even if it only took a few minutes, that I truly felt the relief. You don't need to sort through everything meticulously or handle it all at once. Just make it a simple habit. Open your mail when you get it, throw away what's unnecessary, and place important documents in a designated spot. When there's no unopened business laying around your living space, you'll notice you can breathe easier. Once the obvious areas feel lighter, the hidden ones begin to matter more than we expect. The small spaces in your home drawers, side shelves, corners of cabinets are often the places we pay the least attention to. They're not in plain sight, so the mess there is easily overlooked. But these small areas quietly accumulate items, creating a sense that your home is always cluttered, even if you don't know why. A drawer full of random items doesn't immediately make a room look messy, but each time you open it, you have to dig through it, avoid things, and close it quickly. These small experiences, repeated over time, make daily life feel less pleasant than we realize. I have a drawer where every time I open it, everything seems to be mixed together: old papers, items I no longer need, things I placed there just to temporarily store. I rarely cleaned it, not because I was too busy, but because I thought it wasn't worth the time. But then I realized every time I needed to open that drawer, my hand would hesitate. I started avoiding it, as if just opening it became a small inconvenience in my day. When I spent about 15 minutes cleaning it out, not only did I gain more space, but I also felt lighter mentally. Finding things became quicker, and I no longer had that feeling of every corner of the house hiding a mess. Each week, pick one small space to clean. You don't need to do everything, just be consistent. As those hidden corners gradually become tidy, you'll feel your home expanding, and so will your mind. Finally, to keep everything from slowly slipping back into chaos, one repeating task needs a clear rhythm. Laundry is a never-ending task, and without a clear rhythm, it easily becomes mentally exhausting. When you do laundry only when the pile feels too much dirty, clothes tend to linger both in your home and in your thoughts. There is always a vague awareness that laundry needs to be done even when you are trying to rest. Letting laundry accumulate does more than take up space. It creates the feeling that housework is never truly finished. You know the task is waiting, but you don't know when you'll actually deal with it. That uncertainty quietly drains energy and makes relaxation less satisfying. For a long time, laundry happened in an irregular, reactive way. Some weeks involved several loads, other weeks none at all until clean clothes nearly ran out. As a result, weekends often disappeared into catching up. Instead of feeling like a break days off became dominated by chores. Choosing one fixed laundry day each week changed that pattern. Laundry stopped being an open-ended task and became something contained within a specific time. On that day, it gets done. On all other days, it no longer needs attention. When laundry has a scheduled place in your week, you don't have to think about it constantly. You're not checking the size of the pile or worrying about running out of clothes. Knowing it will be handled on a certain day is enough. You may not do less laundry, but you think about it far less. Pick a day that fits your lifestyle. When repetitive tasks have a clear place in your week, your home feels calmer and your rest feels more complete. Try implementing one of these small tips today, and you'll notice an immediate difference. For example, just taking a few seconds to clean the sink after each meal or opening the window every morning can make your living space more comfortable and leave you feeling lighter. Don't worry about changing everything at once. Start with one habit and gradually transform your space. In the next video, we'll explore more effective cleaning tips, especially what to do and what to avoid in 2026 to keep your home tidy without feeling stressed. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. Try these small habits and see the positive changes in your life.